Springfield. This was written in response to a uni prompt. Both of our pieces have a spring connection. So this first one's called Spring Fallback. Four upturned faces reflecting the flickering firelight, waiting patiently for Mum to put a scraping of lard on the last crust retrieved from the toasting fork. Dad would be home from work soon, hopefully bringing a shilling for the electric meter. Meanwhile, we made our own entertainment, hampered by the half-light and Mum's frustration. We played games such as I Spy, difficult in the half-light, and Guess the Song, tapping out rhythmic melodies on the hard tiles for the others to guess. We argued a lot, which drove Mum daft, and sometimes she would shout really loud, "Will you bloody kids shut up, I'm sick to death of it all the time." And we were subdued, probably for all of 5 minutes. Sometimes, though, she would distract us with a funny story, or, if we were really good, a ghost story. Either way, she would always start with a tremulous, "It was a dark and stormy night." The funny story wasn't that funny after the first few times. And two men were sat on a bridge. Jack said, "Tell us a story, Joe." And Joe began, "It was a dark and stormy night, and two men." Our favourite was the one that progressed, and a little old lady with a wooden leg was lying all alone close to death. Fast forward 40 years, and it's me standing on the bridge. Magnetic, inky blackness, pulsing against the concrete stanchions, and the wind whipping up a hulu. Car headlights briefly distort the driving brain, but quickly pass. The time is perfectly timed for the execution of a selfish plan. And I watch the swirls of water as they spin off into the bridge. White notes on a hidden stave, carrying my swan song out to sea. Now you can walk through. And this is a new one. It's called A Left-Handed Spring. I have one of those cordless stick hoovers, a fancy one with the bright headlights on the front. It has both a hand control and a foot control, and if you kick it a certain way, the flexology function engages, so that it lays almost flat to limbo under the sofa. In the spring and summer, when the sun shines through the front window in a particular way, this means that visitors don't have to be directed to a specific seat so that they can't see the detritus gathering where you've been sitting. It's not just the dust. I mean, we all know that dust is things like skin cells, clothing fibres and hair. You had so much more hair when we first met. But you've turned it into an art form. Who knew biscuit crumbs and chocolate chips were so mobile? And by what miraculous means does a maverick jumbo oat disentangle itself from gloopy porridge in a deep dish to nestle in the carpet and reappear at the exact time the afternoon sun emerges from behind a cloud to shine a searchlight on it, just as Mrs. Amanda Fortescue-Smiley, community occupational therapist, adjusts her bifocals. Of course, it's not all about food. I've lost count of the number of nuts, screws, pen tops, plastic connectors, hearing aid batteries, 5p coins, nail clippings, camouflage tape and the like that I've seen caught up in the cyclonic action and deposited in the ballast reservoir for hands-free emptying. I've even had a literal spanner in the works, one of those mini bespoke ones they send with the many self-assembly things you order frequently. And now, a metallic clatter and sudden loss of power indicate another foreign body in a thwarted bid for freedom. A A post-mortem of the dust bunny reveals a tiny spring. A left-handed spring, if I'm not mistaken, not that I care. But I remember that day when I came into the room to find you lying full length on the carpet, one arm extended under the sofa, while you tried to summon the strength with your stroke-weakened arm to manoeuvre yourself into a better position and simultaneously fight off the cat you had uninvited joined in this hide-and-seek strangeness. I thought you were having another stroke or a seizure, and felt a corresponding seismic shuffle in my own brainwave function, until I realised you were holding a torch and peering into the dark recesses of the sofa's underbelly. We laughed as the adrenaline subsided, and I chased the cat away to give you a better chance, but it didn't help much, and I could feel your inner flapping turmoil as I tried to wrestle you into a position where your stronger arm would be most useful, and I could support the weaker side. 20 minutes of strenuous activity that left us sweating and out of breath, united in our vulnerability as we finally rested back against the sofa and questioned whether knowing about Newton's law of motion actually made motion any easier. So there you go, I concluded. The property of massive bodies to resist changes in their states of motion is called inertia. Thinking you would be impressed by my knowledge. Instead, you closed your eyes and asked if I was fat-shaming you. And could you have a glass of water or even better, a cup of tea? The cat came back in as I opened the door, fixing me with a baleful stare that challenged my temerity in booting him out, checking with his 200-degree vision that I hadn't disturbed anything in his feline kingdom, and proving his dominance by casually reaching behind the coffee table leg and putting up a tiny spring. "Ah," I said, "now that's a result." But you shook your head. "Don't get excited," you said. "It's a right-handed spring, and I need a left-handed one." "Really? Can't you just turn it upside down?" You nodded at the multiple tiny packages on the table. If it were that flipping easy, I wouldn't have needed to order all these, would I? I carried on into the kitchen and wondered about right-handed springs, upside-down springs, and left-handed springs, and whether it was possible for autumn to turn into summer and summer to turn into spring.